Hey guys, creator mom. So I woke up this morning feeling like such crap. I it was crazy because I had a scratchy throat yesterday, and I took this throat syrup called like Rocky Mountain. Never ever try this throat syrup. I don't even know if I guess it kind of worked because my throat feels fine, but I don't know if it would have felt fine anyway, because sometimes those scratchy throats, they don't last long, maybe for a day or something. But it was weird because on the packaging it said like, it's for like sinuses and body aches and stuff too. So when I took the syrup, I only had like a scratchy throat. Actually I had a runny nose too, but I wasn't sure if it was because of I've been having like allergies and shit. I hate allergies. And I've been usually I take quercetin, but I've been like I don't have any more left, and I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just suffer through it." And by the time I order the quercetin, you know, the allergies are going to be gone cuz I tend to get them bad the first week of June, end of May. Anyways, I finally broke down and ordered it, but I woke up this morning feeling so awful. Like my whole face hurts, like my nose hurts. And it's getting better though. Like all of it was hurting, but now it's just like mainly my nose that's really hurting. Anyways, so that's why I look like this. Not that I always look way better, but anyways, moving on. I wanted to make this video to say that I think that an important step in recovering from narcissistic abuse, and I don't speak as an expert because I think that I am only at the very beginning of this, because I never fully accepted it. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I think that the most important step to getting started to healing from narcissistic abuse is realizing that your parents, I'm going to speak mainly on that, not really on partners, but that your parent was a narcissistic person who did this to you, all right? And I think the reason I have had a hard time accepting it was because I was afraid it was going to put me in a victim mentality. I was afraid to be put as a victim, but that's because as I'm reading this book, gosh, it is so accurate to my life. But it's because you were never allowed to feel like the victim. So you don't even feel like you have a right to be a victim, because the narcissistic parent was always the victim. That was their role. Only they had the right to feel hurt by you. You never had the right to feel hurt or to be in the role of a victim. You had to be like the stronger one, Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to demand things from anyone. I don't need um to feel okay. And so the narcissistic parent is the only one who is allowed to be the hurt party all the time. I was also reading in this book that he was talking about how saying sorry, right, is kind of like a survival thing. And then I thought in my mind, well, not only saying sorry, but also being thankful and saying thank you a lot and like gratitude. And then he mentions that in a later chapter that feeling sorry and being always like showing gratitude, feeling like you have to show gratitude for every little thing somebody does for you. And like wondering if you showed them enough gratitude and kind of just like being nervous about that. That is also a survival mechanism of being narcissistically abused. So, and I noticed this really coming out in me at the domestic violence center. I began to actually observe it in myself, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, every time I ask for something from a staff, I'm like, I have to give them a compliment. I have to say, make sure I show gratitude. There's nothing wrong with gratitude, and that's the confusing thing too, right? But I realized where it was coming out from. And I was like realizing that it wasn't coming from what felt like a healthy place, you know? It was coming from like a nervous place, like, oh my God, I'm asking for something. I feel awful for asking for something, you know? And this is part of the narcissistic abuse mentality. Um, yeah, you have to make sure you ask for very little, and you have to make sure you show ultra gratitude, because you have been so accused of being selfish, of being irresponsible. It's just awful when you think about it, because, it's like he gives examples throughout the book too of like people's stories and stuff, like little accounts of how, like, as a child, so and so forgot to take out the trash and the parent called them selfish and irresponsible and disrespectful. And I was like, wow, like, okay. I'm like, yeah, it's one thing to call out a child for not maybe doing what they were asked to do, like a chore, like, hey, you were supposed to take out the trash, but it's another thing to add labels onto them and say, this is your character. This is who you are. Because you didn't take out the trash, you were selfish. You are disrespectful. You don't care about anybody but yourself. I heard that one too. So, which is shameful. I mean, that shouldn't be done to children, because you keep saying that they're such a terrible person. It's just not right. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Like, call them out for not taking the trash out, but you don't have to damn destroy their character over it or tell them they're things that they're not. But this is all part of the narcissist putting their worthlessness onto others, their inadequacies onto others. They'll never recognize the good things that you do. I remember being told that because I homeschool, that basically I'm privileged, and not everybody is so lucky to be privileged like I am. And it was like, wow. I don't know. It was like that statement was like, damn, I can't believe that my own mother would speak to me like that, would say that I think I'm privileged or that I'm privileged. The way she said it was just like insinuating that I thought I was privileged. It's just like, eh. Now I joke about it to myself. I go, yeah, I'm privileged. But they just hate you so much and have so much contempt and jealousy for you, and there's no space for you to be who you are. Everything you are is offensive to them. So, and that's what I realized throughout my whole life. So I just wanted to say all that to say you have to realize that you have been narcissistically abused, and you have to accept it. And I think I never wanted to accept that, because, like I said, you're not allowed to be the victim. It's like weak to be the victim. Like, it's kind of like, get over it. But you have to accept it in order to move forward, right? It's that whole thing that, like, you have to accept who you are in order to heal, in order to see change. I think that it's weird because, like, innately, I think that I have to resist something, in order to see change, right? Like how people, like, say you feel like you're fat and you're like, I'm fat. Right? They say you have to accept how you are. You have to accept your body. But it almost seems natural to be like, no, I'm not going to accept my body because I want it to change. When it changes, then I'll accept it, But it's like, no, you have to accept it. Now, I don't even know if that was a good comparison example, but if I don't accept what happened to me and I keep gaslighting myself, maybe I'm not going to get anywhere. Maybe I'm not going to heal like I should. Maybe I'm never going to find out who I am. Maybe I'm not going to ever recognize the gifts and talents that I already have, which in this book, he says that's like one of the symptoms. Like, you don't know what gifts and talents you have. You have no idea. Like, you feel like you don't have anything. And that's kind of like where I'm at, which is really sad. And Anyways, yeah, so just accepting that your parents, stop giving them the benefit of the doubt, because that's what I did. Like, oh, they did the best they could. It's just like, no, they abused you. They are narcissists, and you need to accept that and move forward. And if you want, cut them out of your life, because that's how I always felt. I mean, I always felt like, ever since I was little, goddamn, I always wanted to run away. For some reason, I was told that I ran away at like 5. I don't even remember. But why? Why would a 5-year-old want to run away from their home? I guess I was so stubborn and just so bad, right? For a 5 or 6-year-old to think it's better to just go off and start walking down the sidewalk by themselves, I don't know about that. All right, peace.